stay tuned and let's take a look at this NECA Gargoyles Ultimate Goliath. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember, you can now hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply, show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today, we are taking a look at this NECA Gargoyles Ultimate Goliath. And first and foremost, I need to send a massive thank you to my favourite toy hunting family channel. It is, of course, the Wolfpack Toy Reviews. Thank you to Miguel and the whole family. They have sent this over to me from the US, as for whatever reason, NECA cannot legally sell these Gargoyles figures in the UK. Their license with Disney does not stretch to our borders. So unfortunately, if you are like me, a Gargoyles fan, and you would like to get these new figures in the UK, you need to find a friend across the borders or import them, and it's going to cost a pretty penny, unfortunately. But I put my money down. As I said, I was very curious of this Gargoyles line. I've rewatched the whole first season on Disney Plus recently as well, in anticipation for these figures, which only just makes me a little bit more itchy to jump down this rabbit hole, and I'm sure I will once I've got this Gargoyle Goliath out of the box. But yeah, thank you to Miguel, the Wolfpack Tour Reviews. They're so close to 1,500 subscribers. They're doing a giveaway when they hit that number as well, so go and check them out. Links in the description. Go and show them some love and tell them Dan Who sent you. But yeah, let's look at this. So Goliath looks really good. Let's just have a look, shall we? I've already had a sneak peek, obviously. There are reviews online, but I couldn't help but turn the camera on and talk about this guy. So there we have Goliath. His wings are behind him. We've got that massive tail, interchangeable head, some interchangeable hands. We've got that book of spells that obviously brought him to life in the first place. And we've got like a little pepper down here, or a jalapeno or something. Very much a scene-specific little Easter egg from the cartoon as well. We get a promo image of a Goliath there on the inside. Again, on the side of the packaging with that Gargoyles logo, which is very nostalgic, just seeing the logo as it is. On the back of the box, we get some more promo images of the actual figure, which I always appreciate. But we do get a write-up that reads, "Frozen in stone by day, flesh and blood, winged warriors by night, wakening after 1,000 years, a band of powerful gargoyles find themselves transported to a time and place not their own, New York City. Here, the misunderstood creatures battle modern-day barbarians and struggle to understand their strange new world. Gargoyles, the legend begins." And it certainly does begin with Goliath, because, as I said, NECA have already announced a couple more figures for this line. So I'll talk about them as we get to the end. Today, let's focus on Goliath here. But yeah, the packaging is massive. I could barely fill it in frame, but I'm excited to open this one. So again, thanks to the Wolfpack Tour Reviews. Let's do it. So here we have a Goliath out of the packaging, and he is a beauty. All of his accessories are on the table, except for the wings that come in a separate clamshell, because I want to take a look at these separately in a minute and just focus on the figure first. But these are massive, and I'm sure once these are on the figure, he won't even fit on my review table. So let's look at the figure itself first. He comes with an interchangeable set of fisted hands, a tighter grip. I'm assuming that's to hold the book or the pepper. We get an interchangeable head with a more angry, attacking expression that we see a lot in the cartoon. And then we get this massive bendy wire tail, and straight up it is basically taller than Goliath himself. So talking of height, let's have a look what he is. So he's standing on his hind legs in a minute, and I'll show you what I mean. He is about 7 3/4 inches, and you'll see what I mean, because if I spin him around to his side, you can see he's on his back legs. Now, usually in the cartoon, he's not seen looking like this. Usually he's a bit more of a bent here, and I will do that when we get his wings on, but I wanted to see how tall he'd get straight up. But he will stand, no problem at all, and I just love the shade of purple they've got on these figures. Very nostalgic seeing Goliath like this. This is the Goliath figure we all thought we were playing with as a kid when we had those old Kenner figures. Kenner is literally the name of our childhood toys, let's be honest. But yeah, this purple's beautiful, some nice shading detail on here, and yeah, it's nice to see him in this sort of 3D format as that 2D cartoon still lives up to this day. As I said at the intro, I did rewatch season 1, and I really do think it was ahead of its time. So yeah, this is really good. Let's zoom in and take a closer look. So the head sculpt is pretty good. You can definitely tell it's Goliath. I do think the eyes are buried a little bit too deep, to be honest. It sort of looks like he's been up all night rather than stuck in stone. But there is a little bit of shading there in under the eyes. I just think the eyes could have come out of his skull a little bit more. But other than that, I do think this is a very nice likeness to Goliath. His hair is spot on as well. Dangles all the way down the back, literally down to his lower back. So you're not really going to get much articulation on the head going back, unfortunately, because of that. His head, though, it is on a ball joint. So you can get him looking down, but you're not really going to be able to get him looking up at all, unfortunately. So you can look straight on for your display. But yeah, I think the likeness is pretty good. Let's swap out the head. And here we get Goliath's angry expression with the whited out eyes and the open jaw with his teeth showing. You can even see the tongue in his mouth as well, which is a nice touch. So yeah, this is really nice. As I said, no articulation going backwards on the head, unfortunately, but you can get him looking forward. But it's just that hair is literally sculpted to go down his back. Yeah, it's a nice head sculpt. I like the options as well with these. You can either have a sort of standard look for Goliath or the angry expression. So nice to have options, of course, depending on how you're getting imposed up or ACBA or taking pictures. But yeah, these are looking really good. Let's look at Goliath overall, and I do really like the shade of purple they've gone here. Definitely a little bit of nostalgia now looking at this figure after rewatching the cartoon. I like the shades of purple they've got on here. So we've got a nice sculpted detail with some darker shades of purple in the crevices of the sculpt, which is really nice. You can even see some sculpted veins on the arms of Goliath as well, which are really nice. But you can see how, depending on how the lights hits it, creates some shadows. But even without the shadows, there is some darker shades of purple on here, which are really nice. And yeah, it just is spot on. I do think the shade of purple they've gone for is perfect. This cloth piece looks very much like leather with the bout and then the gold clasp as well. That goes all the way around. We get a little hole there for the tail, which I will show you in a minute. But yeah, this is looking really nice. Even down to the legs, you can see there's subtle shading in all of the sculpted muscle. And it's like, yeah, just really nice. Some veins on his toes. And yeah, really, really, really nice. So yeah, bravo, NECA. And in regards to articulation, I'm not going to go crazy with it, but I do think it's in all the right places. So obviously the shoulder will go up to about 90. There is a double jointed elbow, but because it's so big and muscly, it won't really go past, it does go past 90, but not any more than that, unfortunately. There is a swivel all the way around up there as well. Nice hinge on the hands. He's on a ball joint on the waist, but you're not going to get much back at all, unfortunately. More forward than back, a little bit of a rotation, but I don't want to spin it all the way around just in case. But it does seem like there's a ball joint here for the upper torso and in the waist as well. So yeah, 2 ball joints there, but limited. I don't want to twist it and snap it. We know what NECA figures are like, unfortunately. But so far, so good. His legs will go out pretty far. That's pretty good for a NECA figure, let's be honest. You can see the joint in there. The knee, only a single jointed knee, but there are more articulation points down here at the legs. As I said earlier, gargoyles usually stand on their toes and then their heel is up like that. So we're probably going to get Goliath, or try to get Goliath to stand where he's on his toes like so. But again, it's all about balance, isn't it? So we will try and do that in a second. But yeah, I do think with his wings on, if you've got the real estate on your shelf, you're going to be able to get him in a nice enough pose. He comes with 2 open palm claw hands on the figure out of the box, which are nice. And I will show you all those interchangeable hands in a minute. But even the nails are painted there on the hands. But yeah, as you can see, this figure's got some nice purple shading on it. The sort of loincloth there is a nice, it definitely looks like leather with the brown and the dark in it with the bout. And yeah, this is really, really nice. Bravo, done a good job. Let me spin him around and let me plug this tail in. So there's the hole for the tail, you can literally see. And then here's the tail. So there you go, the tail's in. And the loincloth is cut perfectly, so you can't even see the hole around it. But yeah, this is a bendy wire tail, so obviously without it bent, it's just very straight. But now we can sort of twist it and manipulate it, and maybe this will help him to stand as well when we've got his legs, his heels up. So let's try that. So that's how you want to get your Goliath to stand, with his heels up and in standing on his toes. And then using the articulation and the bendy wire and the tail, you can literally just fold that down with the hinge, because the tail does have a hinge up and down, and literally help him balance. So when you're posing up your Goliath on the shelf, you can get him on his heels looking like he does in the cartoon, which is a real nice touch. So obviously that will affect his height ever so slightly. So now he is about 7.25, 7.5 inches. So it's only affected his height by like 1/4 of an inch, which for me, to have a more accurate pose for Goliath, I am happy to give up that 1/2 inch. So I've already showed you the open claw hands that you get on the figure. He also has a set of fisted hands, which is always great for a more neutral pose. And Goliath is known to beat up a New York thug every now and then as well. So he can now punch them. He also has an extra hand, which is a tighter grip. And I'm assuming that is so he can hold his other accessory, which is this book of spells. Now I could Google what it's called. It is in the cartoon, but I won't be able to pronounce it anyway. But we've seen this book in the cartoon. It's what turns them to stone until they go above the clouds and all of that. So in the book it's just gibberish, but it is nicely sculpted with a bit of leather effect. And yeah, this is a nice touch. And now Goliath, with his gripping hand, you can literally get that in between the fingers, and Goliath can be seen reading a book, which is a very nice touch. As I said, that book is a big plot point of the cartoon, so a nice little accessory piece, and it's nice that Goliath can hold it. His last accessory can sort of just balance in this hand, or you can like sort of just squeeze it in between the fingers and he will hold it. It is, of course, this little jalapeno, this pepper, which is a very scene Pacific moment from the animated series where he tries it and then he does this. Goliath learnt the hard way. Okay, so let's take a look at these wings. And as expected, the wingspan is massive. Currently doesn't fit on my table, but we can just take a closer look at these before we attach them to Goliath. So let me zoom in and you can see this nice sculpted textured detail on the wings with a bit of a metallic blue over it as well, with the dark wash to bring out all that detail. So that's nice. It does look like a leathery sort of bat texture along the purple sort of bone, if you will. I don't like that how the peg is a different colour to the actual thing. Why can't that just be the same colour? But that's a small nitpick. But these are very nice. They're a lot more brittle than I imagined though. Like, they're thinner. I feel like if he fell off a shelf, these will just snap clean because they're very thin and quite like hard. So there's no flex in these at all. I do like the sort of the curvature of the sculpt as well, which is very nice how you can sort of see that there, because of course the gargoyles don't fly, they glide. They catch the wind in their wings and they glide. So it has got like a nice curve, and you can see how that catches the light and gives it a bit more of a dimension for the shelf. But yeah, this is going to take up a lot of real estate on the shelf, and I promise you do not want him to fall, because these wings will 100% just shatter if they hit the floor, unfortunately. But they do look good just on their own, but let's plug them in. So there's the back of Goliath, and you're thinking, where do I plug in the wings, Dan? Wow, if you lift up that massive hair, you can see 2 peg holes for the wings. So of course, that's where we plug them in. Okay, so I've plugged the wings in, I felt them snap, and the ratchets are pretty loud on these wings. Like I'm genuinely scared it's just gonna snap clean off. So I'm a little bit worried, because you know what NECA I like, but let's cover the wings back up with his hair and spin him around, and let's see what silhouette we get. Okay, so that's a really nice silhouette. Of course, I can't fit the whole guy on my frame, but yeah, look at that. That is beautiful. And of course, you can twist these a little bit depending on how you want him to get imposed. But yeah, this guy is going to be an epic piece on the shelf. I just need to clear some room. Okay, so I've had to flatten his feet again so he's not standing on his toes, because it was really hard to get him to balance. Now we've got that added weight of the wings on the figure, so it's going to take some magic to get him posed up looking perfect on the shelf. But this wingspan, people, is like roughly about 23 inches, roughly, that is massive. And that's with them spread straight. You can manipulate them and make them go up a little bit if you wanted to, and then that would be different. But every time you push his head, push these up, it pushes the hair up, so then he's looking down. So as I said, it's going to take a little bit of magic. I wish they did a little bit different, something different on the head, so you got more range in the head with the wings attached, because as you move the wings, it's pushing this hair and then it's pushing his head down. So posing is going to be a little bit awkward, and that extra weight now on the wings means we can't get him standing on his toes as he should. Or maybe we can, it's just going to take a little bit more practice and balance. But as I said, clear some room on the shelf, because yeah, this guy has got an impressive wingspan, and you definitely don't want him to fall, because if this guy falls from any height, these wings are going to shatter. And that doesn't mean that I'm not saying that the quality's poor, it's just the way they're made. It's just science. It's just gravity. That will happen. But of course, we are going to have options, and I'll discuss them very briefly. But yeah, there you go. So there he is on his hind legs again. So you can get him to stand on his toes while the wings are on, using his tail as balance. So yeah, use your magic, find some place on the shelf. But yeah, as we start getting more gargoyles, you may need a whole room to display these. Or get it on some string from the ceiling maybe. I don't know, but yeah, this is impressive. So if you are like me, you are a sucker for anything nostalgic from your childhood. I definitely remember this cartoon from the Disney Channel. I remember having the Kenner toys. And yeah, as I said, rewatch the program if you want to, because it definitely still holds up, especially season 1. I've not really dived into the 53 episode long season 2, and season 3 was apparently a bit of a miss, but season 1 holds up, and that's what I'm going to remember. And yeah, this Goliath is impressive. So he's going to need some friends on the shelf. And NECA have already announced a couple more releases. So we know we're going to get Demona, of course, and she looks very, very nice. So she is going to be the second release from these gargoyle figures. We have also got a picture of Bronx with Goliath, but with his folded wings that sort of turn it into a cape, which is what a lot of people would want to pose their Goliath like. So you get Bronx and you also get the cape. So you don't have to buy another Goliath to get that look. You're just going to add to your collection and get an extra accessory piece for the Goliath. So that is the perfect way to do it. Bravo, NECA. I want to get Bronx, and I'm also going to have the cape so he can take up a little left room on the shelf and I'll feel a little bit better. So yeah, looking forward to Bronx and those folded capes. The picture looks really nice. But that's all we have so far, a picture. It will get released in 2022. I'm assuming the same is for Demona. And then the very recent reveal is his companion from old war times. It is, of course, Hudson, or Houston? No, it's Hudson, isn't it? Yeah, like the Hudson River. So yeah, Hudson, his old friend. All we're missing from Hudson is, of course, a couch and a TV. But yeah, he looks very nice as well. These are definitely looking like their animated counterparts in 3D form. And yeah, as I said, bravo to NECA for getting the license. Work your magic, please, Randy, and make it available in the UK, because this is going to be a very expensive line for me to continue to build. So yeah, I'll be asking the Wolfpack for some more help when those other figures come out. But yeah, beautiful, looking good, and this Goliath is amazing. So as we wrap up and do some comparisons, I've took his wings off just to make it easier. And of course, I'm not going to go crazy with comparisons, as I want to see what he looks like compared to other gargoyles that we don't have yet. Unfortunately, I don't have any of my gargoyles toys as a kid or do any comparisons like that. They are long gone. Instead, here are some other toon comparisons that NECA do really well with the toon turtles, with my favourite Donatello, of course. And since Miguel did help me find this figure, here's Miguel's favourite turtle with Leonardo. And continuing the NECA comparisons, here we have Goliath compared to two of my favourite NECA figures ever with Toka and Razor. Here we have a random Marvel Legends builder figure just to sort of help you figure out the size of Goliath. Here we have the Sasquatch builder figure compared to Goliath. And you can see Sasquatch is taller than Goliath and he is standing on his tiptoes. It's just those wings that make him so damn big. And of course to finish, here we have Goliath compared to Worthy, Hal, Fire, Hank. So, final thoughts. I did try and put him on the rotating base, but those wings are just too big. So instead, here's a nice close-up of him looking very angry. But I am definitely not angry about owning this figure or paying the extra to get it, as it's a beautiful representation of another nostalgic cartoon from my childhood I can add to my shelf. And I'm definitely diving into this rabbit hole if the rest of the figures are going to be as good as this Goliath. I love Bronx, comes with the wings as well, so we're going to continue to add new accessories for this Goliath figure we already have as we build out the team around him, and it will make for an epic display. As I said, it will take up some real estate, but it will be an epic display when they all come out. So I'm all in. Bravo, NECA. Just please work your magic and speak to the powers that be at Disney. Speak to Mickey Mouse himself if you must, and get the license in the UK so I don't have to pay triple to get this figure in my hands and in my collection, as it's a shame for this side of the pond to miss out on this beautiful figure. But you let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you a Gargoyles fan? Are you interested in these figures? Let me know. Always curious to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you like what you see here and want to see more toy reviews about anything that I love and makes me nostalgic, then please, please, please hit that subscribe button. Much appreciated. You can also hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Thank you very much. You can follow me on Instagram at itsdanwho. I'm on Twitter at Dan Who Reviews. Tweet me, people, don't be shy. Let me know what you think of this Goliath. But as always, my name is Dan W, and I will, of course, see you on the next one.